Let's go. Yeah. 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 Just recorded that a few moments ago. Had to share it with you. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah.
Just last night, I pulled up my channel on the PC. And bruh, it was showing that I had 0 likes when I knew on my phone, I seen it on my phone that I had 5. I had 5 likes on my last video.
Now, this is pertaining to the 11th when I recorded this audio. Alright, so I don't want people to get confused. Alright? So when I recorded this audio, it was 5/11/25. Okay? And that's what I'm talking about, alright? That day, okay? Let's continue.
The last physical video that I just uploaded, there was 5 likes. But when I brung it up on my PC, it had 0. And it sat there on 0 for like a good 2 to 3 minutes. Then all of a sudden it rolled up to 5. Like, bro, like... So they wanted to appear when you come to my channel, when you come to my videos, that don't nobody care about this content. And none of my family has supported my content that I've been instructed, divinely instructed, to freely give unto humanity. And most of the people around me, my friends and, those who I thought were my friends and, spiritual family, have all abandoned me. I ain't got no physical support. Literally. It's like crickets on my channel. It's like crickets on my blog postings. I have been ostracized. I have been straight ghosted all of this time with no support. As I stated, this is 2 months behind on my rent. Today is 5/11/2025. I have no idea how it's going to get paid. I have 67 cents to my name. There's 31 cents in my checking account and 36 cents on Cash App.
Now, at this time, this was before the $20 love donation that I woke up to the other day. Okay, and I put out a physical video about that, thanking that person that was generous unto me with that $20 love donation. That helped me to get food for Tiggy, alright, and relieve my suffering. I was able to get a 6-ounce bag of tobacco and a box of tubes, alright, in which I share, some of the tubes with my neighbor that's, we share with one another, alright. So anyway, and I have enough left to get him some more wet food. I had already gotten him a bag of dry food, and I got him a thing of wet food. It's a big one, but I'm gonna get him another thing of wet food. All right, and that's the $20. Okay. So yes, just wanted to include that. All right, because at the time of this recording on 5/11, it was before that $20 love donation. All right. Again, don't want anyone confused. Okay.
on Cash App and zero on PayPal. I have no other funds. None. Nothing. Nada. I may have a quarter or so on the table,
30 cent.
but yeah, I don't think I got many pennies. You know, less than freaking 60 pennies or so, if I counted the pennies. You know, I see pennies on the ground, but I don't pick them up. Because, bruh, I'm not here to pine after money, not even picking up pennies. Like, bro, why? I've done it before, but I quit it. Because, bro, I ain't here to gather money, spend my time, energy, and or effort gathering money. That ain't what I'm here for. I'm here to freely give spiritual clarity and understanding. That's what I'm here for. And that's what I've been doing for the past 3 years, while bearing the hatred of the world, enduring the scorning, the ridiculing, all the persecution that comes with our spiritual mission. But when, oh when, will you people begin to unharden your heart? When will you begin to renounce the God of capitalism? When will you begin to accept the truth by way of the Spirit so that you can be spared via eternal benevolence? If you want compassion, kindness, mercy, empathy, generosity, any of these things sown unto you via our God with these attributes, then I suggest you start sowing those attributes by your actions.
All right. Now I'm gonna play that part again, but that's a good place to pause. Okay, because this has been the corruption of the true gospel. All right, and the charlatans within the churches were used by the demonic realm in order to deceive the population, okay, into giving unto those charlatans and hardening the heart condition of the people within their congregations, okay. And the whole system has been established to suppress the true gospel. All right? Everything about this system suppresses the true gospel and elevates the perverse. Okay? They have switched it. They made everything all about self gratification and stacking money for a living. Okay? Trusting and depending upon money. Not loving one another as thyself, not trusting and depending upon the true and living God of eternal benevolence, glorifying eternal benevolence because of the magnificence of his infinite consciousness and the beneficence of his benevolent attributes, okay? And loving one another as thyself, so that there would never be any suffering, misery, contention. None of these things could exist in a righteous kingdom. Okay? This is not a righteous kingdom that we were born in. So why are you complacent in this wicked system? How long are you going to keep hardening your heart condition? How long are you going to keep searing your conscience? Because you're doing it to your own detriment, okay? Habakkuk 2. Woe to him who builds his house by unjust gain. Okay? This whole economic system was established by force of heathens who invaded and committed all kinds of abominable atrocities against the indigenous people during their invasion. Okay? So they were able to establish this economic system. All right? And they have placed their nest on high. Okay? They're the freaking quadrillionaires upon the earth. Okay? And then they got all of you, where the people in the middle, okay, and then the people that you see, the billionaires, all right, and then millionaires, and then you common people that got hundreds of thousands of dollars saved in your savings accounts or wherever the hell you got it saved upon the earth. You are trying your best to set your nest on high on the initial perversion of the system itself being erected unjustly upon the indigenous people. Okay? So every single one of you who have spent your whole entire life obeying the economic system with your selfish ambition to place your nest on high so that you can escape the hand of disaster, because this is why you are earning and saving your money. You are trying to escape the hand of disaster, but you are joined hand in hand with the worst of the heathen who have initially established this system upon indigenous land and over the indigenous people, oppressing the indigenous people, forcing us to earn their false god of money and then pay them for their permission in order to live upon this land. But you have set your nest on high over his covenant people, over the true covenant people of this land. Okay? And you think that you're going to escape the hand of disaster. Well, I'm here to let you know that you have been subtly misled via your religion of Christianity. Okay? Or whatever religion that you are a part of that's making you comfortable and complacent with capitalism and ignoring all of the indigenous people of all the colonized lands. Okay? Ignoring those who are considered African Americans. All right? Especially the obedient covenant remnant operating in benevolent attributes. See, your forefathers already initially plotted shame for your house because they have a confederacy with the worst of the heathen when they came over here to these lands. When your forefathers initially came over here to these lands, they had to get the permission from those who established this system. All right, they were given handouts and all of these things. All right, so that is the confederacy that your forefathers had with the worst of the heathen when they came upon these lands, considering themselves white people. Okay, they were elevated to white supremacy, given a white status, all right, over the indigenous people. Okay, therefore your forefathers have plotted shame for your house. Okay, and right now, until you overturn it by turning your back on this Eurocentric system, all right, and choose to help the remnant, the covenant people, the obedient covenant remnant, okay, of these lands, you have a great judgment that's pending. All right? Yes. All right? Because there's shame that's been plotted for your house. Because they have cut off the people of this land, okay? We are the indigenous people of this land. They stripped us of our livelihood. They stripped us of our heritage, our inheritance, all of our blessings, okay? And they're trying to strong arm us into trusting in their God that they replaced upon these lands. They replaced our God of eternal benevolence with their God of money, okay? The image of the beast is money, okay? And they want us to put in our time, energy, and effort pining after their money. and then turn around and pay that money to the descendants of those who are squatting upon our land, oppressing us. Okay? So, you're basically forfeiting your life. Okay? Because everything that you're upholding against us is going to come crashing down upon you. All right? You reap what you sow. For the stones will cry out from the wall. Okay? This is from, hold on, let me show you the cover. This is from a book entitled When Rocks Cry Out. Okay? When Rocks Cry Out. All right? For the stones will cry out from the wall, and the rafters will echo it from the woodwork. Okay? Now let's get it. All right? Chapter 6. The thread that led to the stones. Always, they ask me the question, why are you doing this? What made you start looking for this? The secret histories unfolded during my search for an early group of people in North America known as the Cali. A public television PBS documentary, The History of the American West, mentioned that early Spanish explorers found a people called Cali living in the western reaches of the North American continent. The documentary made no other mention of the Cali after revealing these early Americans to be quote-unquote black. I had never heard of the Cali or of any other black-skinned people being in America when Columbus came. I sent emails to PBS asking for the sources that told of the Cali. I got no response. I searched the internet for the history of the American West documentary and found an excerpt from that project, but there was no reference to the Cali. Weeks passed and still not one single sentence was found about the American Cali. I would try one last time. The documentary said the early Spanish explorers saw the Cali, so I decided to concentrate on the period when Spain began its exploration of the Americas. All right? Now we're going to go to another page. One more page. All right? Almost immediately, my fortune changed. Rare books and maps of the southwest region of North America were found in the Special Collections Library at a local university. Maybe I would find something about the Cali in those maps and records. Arriving at this library, I discovered there were numerous old maps and records about the period and place where the Spanish explorers saw the Cali. I was fortunate to meet a Hispanic librarian who possessed deep knowledge of historical Spanish literature, which included some of the most detailed descriptions of the New World and its people. She knew the records that preserved Spain's early descriptions of the Americas. After being introduced to her, I went straight to the riddle that had consumed me. I'm looking for the black people called Cali who were in the Americas when the conquistadors arrived. The slight smile fell from the librarian's mouth. She glanced about the dimly lit room, apparently to determine if anyone overheard my question. She walked me quickly to a table away from the ears of the few people near the entrance, and I can tell you where to find the blacks who were in America when Columbus came here, she whispered as she leaned toward me for confidentiality. All right? But you do understand that people do not like to talk about that, don't you? She did not wait for an answer. I know there were several groups of blacks here, and not just in the islands, but in South America too, she offered, while occasionally looking around as though we were committing a grave conspiracy. Now, see, there is a reason for that, because they know that these lands were initially known as Negro lands. Okay? That's when the rocks cry out. Okay? One second, people. So I'm flowing by way of the Spirit. Lee Cummings, the Negro has forgotten his true history. Royals of Europe. We were royals everywhere. Everywhere we were. Okay? Everywhere we were, including here in the Americas. Alright? See this? They knew that this was a land full of what they considered to be Ethiopians, black people with woolly hair. Okay? They wrote about it in many of their records. They just hid it. Okay? They don't want to talk about the genocide that they've been repeatedly committing against us in these lands and reclassifying us as Africans so that they can just take our land, okay, and oppress us in this land, which is biblical prophecy fulfilled against the biblical people. Okay? Everywhere that we were. Woe to him who builds a city with bloodshed. You all have blood on your hands because you are hand in hand with the worst of the heathen who established this abominable economic system upon this covenant land and over his covenant people, his obedient covenant remnant. Okay? The covenant remnant of the true and living God of eternal benevolence. Okay? Woe to him who builds a city. You then built a comfortable life for yourself with the economic system. Therefore, you get blood on your hands. Okay? Establishes a town by iniquity. Okay? Repeatedly, you have destroyed us in this land. Okay? You have massacred us repeatedly. And then you establish your cities. And you just live happy-go-lucky in your carnal flesh, earning money for a living, and stacking and saving it up upon the earth, and ignoring the indigenous people who are being heavily mistreated, forced to be complacent with our oppressors ruling over us. Is it not indeed from eternal benevolence of hosts that the labor of the people only feeds the fire? This is fueling the fire. This is creating hardened hearts. It's creating hatred. It's creating grudges. It's creating envy. It's creating jealousy. It's fueling the fire of adversity against eternal benevolence. Forcing people to earn money for a living, for their bare necessities, only fuels the fire. Is it not indeed from eternal benevolence of hosts that the labor of the people only feeds the fire? And in this, the people, this is the Israelites. This is not including all people. This is the people that are under this captivity. That does not include all of humanity. Because you are not the indigenous people of these lands. You are not his covenant people. Okay? So we are not all the same. And you know that you have all had a confederacy against us. So forcing us to do this is fueling the fire amongst my people. So thus you have black on black crime. Now, yes, there was so-called black on black crime, tribe against tribe and whatnot, before this. But this does not negate what this has caused. This has made it worse. Okay, they have put crates of guns in our neighborhoods. They have put drugs in our neighborhoods. Okay, so all of these things that they wrought upon us as a people only fuels the fire, especially their economic system in which they established upon this covenant land. Okay? So it's from our God. He told us that we will work in vain. A second, let's see if I can find that. And we will work and we will not prosper. Alright? Thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in the darkness, working jobs for a living. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, because we were a commodity to begin with. If we're the indigenous people, why in the hell are we having to earn the image of the beast, which is money established by our enemies, to pay our enemies in order to live upon our ancestral land? That just makes us a cash cow. We're simply a cash cow. We're not benefiting from that whatsoever. It doesn't benefit us because this is our covenant land. Like, oh my God. Before it was invaded by the worst of the heathen and opened unto all of you nations, we had the abundance of everything that we could ever want or need. But now we're having to pay money for everything that we want and need. Therefore, working jobs will never cause us to prosper in our ways. And it will cause us to forever stay oppressed and spoiled. Always. And no man has delivered us from these circumstances. And ain't no man gonna deliver us from these circumstances. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which we knew not eat up. This is the devouring locust that we read about in Joel chapter 2. Okay? And thou shalt only be oppressed and crushed always. Okay? This is the curses that we have been going through. at the hands of all you nations, upon our ancestral land oppressing us. I see my life in the scriptures, and I ran back to eternal benevolence, the true and living God. So, I know that we were already warned. We were already warned by our God that the labor of the people only feeds the fire, and the nations weary themselves in vain. Yes, nations, you are wearying yourself in vain. You're wearying yourself in vain. Let's see. All right, we're gonna start right here. Okay, well, right here. Okay, because you weary yourselves in vain. All right, let's start in verse 7. We wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Okay, your manifested destiny, your doctrine of discovery, colonizing all non-Christian lands, subjugating non-Christian people, which were the covenant people of eternal benevolence. You weary yourselves in a way of wickedness and destruction. Yeah, you have gone through deserts where there lay no way. But as for the way of the true and living God, you have not known it. You think this life is all about the comforts of the physical carnal flesh. You think that's all that this life is about. Enjoying your carnal flesh upon the earth, not caring about your neighbor, especially not those who's been deemed black people, African Americans, okay? So you have not known the way of eternal benevolence. You're going to ask yourself, what has pride profited us? You're so proud of all of your selfish ambition. You're going to ask yourself, what good has riches with our saving brought us? Because all of those things are going to pass away like a shadow and as a post that hastens by. Verse 8. Whatever is now is nothing. This is from the Apocalypse of Baruch. Whatever is now is nothing. But that which shall be is very great. For everything that is corruptible shall pass away. Capitalism is corruptible. It is not sustainable. And everything that dieth shall depart, and all the present time shall be forgotten, nor shall there be any remembrance of the present time, which is defiled with evils. For that which runneth now runneth into vanity, and that which prospereth shall quickly fall and be humiliated. Let's go down here, verse 3. For look, we see now the multitude of the prosperity of the Gentiles. I've seen it all my life, and I wondered. I wondered why my people were treated the way we were treated. I wondered why I was treated as the scum of the earth, and like I was worthless, like I did not matter. But the only thing that mattered was the word of those who were pale-skinned, who had all the money and the materialistic things, while they oppressed me and my people constantly. So I seen and I see the prosperity of the Gentiles, though they act impiously. But they shall be like a vapor. And behold, the multitude of their power, though they do wickedly, they shall be made like unto a drop. And we see the firmness of their might, though they resist the mighty one every hour. But they shall be accounted as spittle. And we consider the glory of their greatness, though they do not keep the statutes of the Most High. So as smoke shall they pass away. And we meditate on the beauty of their gracefulness, though they have to do with pollutions. But as grass that withers shall they fade away. And we consider the strength of their cruelty, though they remember not the end thereof. They don't remember lifting up their hands against us. They say, let the past be the past, but it's the very reason that you're on top of us. As a wave that passes, shall they be broken. Trying to force me to do this for a living. And we remark the boastfulness of their might, though they deny the beneficence of the true and living God of eternal benevolence, who allowed it unto them, Did not give it to them, but allowed it for righteous benevolent purposes. One, because of the disobedience of his covenant people who broke the covenant and refused to come back to the pure covenant. We had to be chastised. And he warned us that there was a devising plan of the worst of the heathen, the demonic realm that was going to use the worst of the heathen to come to this covenant land. What did Lucifer say? He would set himself up like the Most High. He would sit upon the congregation of the north. North America is where he established his kingdom and his rule upon the holy people, and opened up our lands for you to live the American dream. You think the beast is coming. You think the Antichrist is coming. You are at the end of this. And this is your final opportunity. But you keep ignoring your opportunity. And you have been denying the beneficence of eternal benevolence, who allowed you to come over here to this promised blessed land. He allowed you to get up on top of us very high with your prosperity. He allowed you time to even enjoy your prosperity. He allowed you centuries to enjoy your prosperity over his people while we suffer. It shall come to pass as a passing cloud, for the Most High shall surely hasten his times, And he shall assuredly bring on his hours, and he shall assuredly judge those who are in his world, and shall visit in truth all things by means of all their hidden work. He's doing that now through us for a reason. We show you the receipts. We're doing it for a reason, not to hurt you, but to help you. But you must help restore us. You must show that you love us. You can't keep ignoring us while you're holding on to all of your prosperity and claiming that you serve the true and living God. You do not. You serve the God of money. And it's evident in your actions and in your deeds. He shall assuredly examine the secret thoughts, and that which is laid up in the secret chambers of all the members of men, and shall make them manifest in the presence of all with reproof. Let none therefore of these present things ascend into your hearts, but above all let us be expectant, because that which is promised to us shall come. And let us not look unto the delights of the Gentiles in the present, but let us remember what has been promised to us in the end. You've been ignoring your real salvation, because your real salvation is surrounding us. So as long as you continue to ignore us, you're ignoring your salvation. And your prosperity is about to pass away as a ship that passes over the waves of the water, which when it is gone by, the trace thereof cannot be found, neither the pathway of the keel in the waves. So you have been wearying yourself in vain, earning your money and saving it upon the earth. Now, this is going to be from the Apocalypse of Peter, but I got to go get some water, and I got to check my time. Sorry that I'm yelling, people. I'm very passionate about this truth, okay? And it's hard to contain the spirit, all right? All right, I'm very passionate. And I flow by way of the spirit, okay? I don't mean to yell at you. I don't mean to yell into the mic, okay? It just happens that way, all right? A life of, like, bro, okay? Like, I was created for this, okay? I'll be right back. This thing is so many videos too. My goodness, man. I don't be planning it like this. You know, I get over probably 100 or so audios to freaking create into videos, bro. We're gonna have to find a better way to do this, because, you know, like, I'm doing it as I'm led to, but man, like, I got enough work to last me for several lifetimes. This is from the Coptic Apocalypse of Peter. Okay, we're going to start at the top, because Peter is astounded at the judgment that's going to be upon you nations that refuse to repent. Alright, 1 second, let's see. Does it start? Okay, no, it starts here. Alright, I think it starts there, yeah. Okay, yeah. Now, and I asked him and said unto him, Lord, suffer me to speak thy word concerning the sinners. It were better for them if they had not been created. And the Saviour answered and said unto me, Peter, wherefore speakest thou thus? That not to have been created were better for them. Thou resistest eternal benevolence. Thou wouldest not have more compassion than he for his image. For he has created them and brought them forth out of not being. Now because thou hast seen the lamentation which shall come upon the sinners in the last days, therefore is thine heart troubled. But I will show you their works, whereby they have sinned against the Most High. Behold, now what shall come upon them in the last days, when the day of the Lord and the day of the decision of the judgment of eternal benevolence cometh. From the east unto the west shall all the children of men be gathered together before my Father that liveth for ever. And he shall command hell to open its bars of adamant, and give up all that is therein. Okay? This is the separation of the wheat apart from the tares. We went over it in the video before this, okay? Matthew chapter 25. All right? And the wild beast and the fowl shall he command to restore all the flesh that they have devoured. Okay? This is symbolic. It's not literal. Alright? He's not literally going to talk to the literal animals and be like, hey, you're going to have to restore the flesh of all the other animals that you devoured. Okay? No. Alright? You got to get out of the freaking literal interpretation of our records. Alright? This is symbolizing all the wild beasts that was allowed to come against us. Okay? Let me show you. There it is. Alright, there's like the 70 shepherds, okay? Alright, 70 shepherds, Book of Enoch. This is about the 70 shepherds, okay? And he left us in the hand of the lions and tigers and wolves and jackals, and in the hand of foxes and all the wild beasts. And these wild beasts began to tear those sheep to pieces. We are his sheep, okay? We are the people of his covenant, okay? He came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And when Israel rejected him, and handed him over to the worst of the heathen to have them torture and murder him, all right, we wrought this great judgment upon ourselves, okay? And so this is what we had to go through, all right? We went through the Jacob's trouble, okay? And we are the sheep that went through the Jacob's trouble. While all you nations are the wild, you are described as the wild beast that came over here to this covenant land, okay, to live the American dream, all right? And you have torn us to pieces, okay? And I saw that he left that house of theirs and their tower and allowed them, all of us, into the hand of lions, that, and he knew that they would tear and devour us. All right, left us into the hand of all the wild beasts, okay? And Enoch began to cry aloud with all his power and called upon the Lord of the sheep and showed him this in reference to the sheep, that they were being devoured. We were being devoured by all the wild beasts. But he remained silent, seeing it. And No, he did not rejoice. Okay? No, he did not rejoice. You got to understand that they blend good and evil, and they put that on the ascended master and on eternal benevolence and on the Holy Spirit. They want to blend good and evil and place that upon the righteous. Okay? It don't work that way. Okay? He wouldn't rejoice. Okay? The ascended master is compassionate, empathetic, okay? Long suffering, the disobedience of our people. He was not rejoicing in our suffering, okay? He had to long suffer it, all right? Knowing that we were being devoured and swallowed and robbed and left, but he still yet he left us in the hand of all the wild beasts as food. Okay, they have a book out entitled The Delectable Negro. They literally ate us. Okay, and he called 70 shepherds. All right, and we were basically allowed into their hands. All right, in order that they should pastor us. Okay, now these I would say that these were initially the engrafted righteous Gentiles, that the ones that were engrafted in our fold. You know what I'm saying? He allowed them to take hold of our spiritual records and basically lead us. Okay, he allowed them to take hold of our spiritual records and lead us, but over a period of time, they were tortured in the Inquisition right along with us. They had the persecution against them with the Roman Catholic Church along with us. Okay, the Jesuits. All right. Anybody that was with the holy people, they went through the same persecution as us. So after a period of time, they were able to literally stamp out the holy people and stamp out the true, pure gospel and then bring about their perversion. All right? So it switched from the hands of the righteous, 70 shepherds, all right? And they didn't stay in it, okay? It changed, all right? Once they stamped out the righteous ones, all right, the wicked ones took over. All right? And they did great wickedness to our people and to his pure gospel. All right? So now you got the worst of the heathen with the spiritual records. Imposing their perversion upon the indigenous people by way of the sword. Okay, they imposed the Antichrist upon the indigenous people. Okay, and then all humanity. Okay, after they did it to us, then they did it to all humanity. So now most of humanity is a part of some various religion. Okay, predominantly Christianity and or Islam or Judaism. All right, so we were left in the hands of these 70 shepherds. All right, and to their companions. Each single one of you shall now pasture the sheep, and everything I instruct you, do. Okay? They did not stay in his beneficence. Okay? And I allow them to be delivered to you according to number. And you will know which of them that can be destroyed because they're not of my portion. Okay, because he would never tell them that it's okay to kill. He said thou shalt not kill. He said thou shalt not spill blood. Okay, so this again is polluted with perversion. Okay, he would never give you a contrary commandment. He said thou shalt not kill. So why in the hell would he tell them to kill? Why he's not about destroying in all of this. So why would he tell them to destroy and to kill? Okay, you need to have discernment, all right? But nevertheless, there were both upon these lands, okay? There was many of the wicked who were not following benevolent attributes, okay? They were not operating in divine love or benevolent attributes, all right? So they were the portion of the wicked. All right, this is simply what that means. They were the portion of the wicked. Okay, But there was a portion of eternal benevolence also within these lands. Okay? But yet they killed us. All right? They did all kinds of heinous things to even the righteous. All right? During the Inquisition. Okay? They tortured us and we became martyrs. Okay? And he allowed the sheep over to them. And to another he called and said to him, watch and see everything that the shepherds do concerning these sheep, for they will destroy more of them than was their portion. Okay? They will destroy more of them than was their portion. Okay? Malevolence gets to take hold of its portion. All right? That's the beneficence of eternal benevolence. All right? Eternal benevolence gives a choice and allows the consequences of those choices. Okay? Now, so I prove to you that this is not literal. The wild beasts and the fowls, all right, are the nations that came upon these lands, devouring us, so-called African Americans or Afro Mexicans, Afro Cubans, all right, Afro Hawaiians, or wherever the hell we are, and you've slapped that label of African upon us. Okay? Afro Australians. All right? Like, bruh, we don't all come from Africa. We had the most prosperous lands all over the earth. Okay? He blessed his covenant people with the best lands all over the earth. The lands that have all four seasons. So wherever you find lands that has all four seasons, that's the lands that were the inheritance of Shem. Okay? And predominantly his covenant people. Okay? So now these wild beasts and fowls shall be commanded. You are instructed to restore us. All right? If you're righteous. All right? That because we have been devoured. All right? Because he willeth that men should appear. For nothing perishes before eternal benevolence. And nothing is impossible with him. Because all things are his. Okay? That's basically him saying that, hey, I allowed you to have all your prosperity. And I allowed it for this reason, so that you can restore the people who you destroyed. Okay, now if you don't want to do that, then you will reap your reward of destruction. Okay, because you reap what you sow. Alright, for all things come to pass on the day of decision, on the day of judgment, at the word of eternal benevolence. And as all things were done when he created the world and instructed all that is therein, and it was done, even so shall it be in the last days. For all things are possible with the true and living God of eternal benevolence. And therefore said he in the scripture, Son of man, prophesy upon the several bones, and say unto the bones, bone unto bone in joint, sinew, nerves, flesh, and skin, and hair thereon, and soul and spirit. This connects to the valley of the dry bones in Ezekiel chapter 37. All right, the dry bones. All right, valley of the dry bones. Well, we were dry bones because of what was done to us. That you want to say, leave the past in the past. And soul and spirit shall the great Uriel give them at the commandment of the true and living God of eternal benevolence. So we have been resurrected by way of the Spirit. For him has eternal benevolence set over the rising again of the dead in the day of judgment. That's why this pureness of this true gospel is going forth while you are in the valley of decision, so that you can make a logical decision. Okay? But you keep ignoring us to your own detriment. And you've been ignoring, bro, I've been relentlessly giving you this work. Okay? For over 4 years. Okay? But 3 years I've been doing it full time, while suffering the hardened hearts of the people who refuse to give me any physical substance, while I give you all of this spiritual work. Behold and consider the corns of wheat that are sown in the earth, as things dry, and without soul do men sow them in the earth. And they live again and bear fruit, and the earth restoreth them as a pledge and trust is unto it. And this that dieth, that is sown as seed in the earth, and shall become alive and be restored unto life, is man. All right. How much more shall eternal benevolence raise up the day of decision them that obey him and are chosen of him, for whose sake he made the world? And all things shall the earth restore on the day of decision, for it shall be judged with him, and the heaven with it. Okay? Bro, I'll be in my head when like it just be flooding, okay? Second Ezra 6:59. Alright, if the world now be made for our sake, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How come we're so ignored? How come we're so hated? How long shall this endure? Verse 56, as for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing but likened unto spittle. We read that in the Apocalypse of Baruch. This has to do with the hardened-hearted Gentile nations, all you prosperous nations that have no compassion on his people. You are going to be accounted as spittle. Okay? And has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. And now, O Lord, behold these heathen, which have ever been repudiated as nothing, have begun to be lords over us, and to devour us. But we thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. If the world now be made for our sake, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? Well, now we've been resurrected by way of the Spirit, and we're instructed to address all you nations and give you his living word by way of the Spirit, so that you have an opportunity to hear it, receive it, and apply it to your life and live it. And this shall come at the day of judgment upon them that have fallen away from the faith in eternal benevolence, and that have committed sins. Floods, cataracts of fire shall be let loose, and darkness and obscurity shall come up and clothe and veil the whole earth, and the water shall be changed and turned into coals of fire, and all that is in them shall burn. And the sea shall become fire. Under the heaven shall be a sharp fire that cannot be quenched, that floweth to fulfill the judgment of wrath. And the stars shall fall in pieces by flames of fire, as if they had not been created. And the powers, firmaments of the heaven shall pass away for lack of water, and shall be as though they had not been. And the lightnings of heaven shall be no more, and by their enchantment shall they shall affright the world. Okay? So men's hearts is going to fail them in fear for looking after the things that's coming upon the earth. There's many things that's getting ready to take place that's never happened before in our lifetime. Okay? The spirits also of the dead body shall be like unto them the lightnings, and shall become fire at the commandment of the eternal living God. And so this sounds like the destroyer, people. All right, and that's in the Cobron. That's in the Cobran Bible. It talks about it in the Cobran Bible and also in Second Ezra's. Okay, the fearful constellation. All right, all of this is culmination up to that. Okay, the destruction of the world by fire. Okay. And so soon as the whole creation dissolveth, the men that are in the east shall flee unto the west, unto the east. They that are in the south shall flee to the north, and they that are in the south, and they that are in the south, and in all places shall the wrath of a fearful fire overtake them, and an unquenchable flame, driving them, shall bring them into the judgment of wrath, unto the stream of unquenchable fire that floweth flaming with fire. And when the waves thereof part themselves one from another, burning, there shall be a great gnashing of teeth among the children of men. Then shall they all behold me coming upon an eternal cloud of brightness, and the angels of the true and living God that are with me shall sit. All right, this is going to be chariots, okay, what you would call UFOs, okay. He's going to sit upon the throne of his glory. That is North America. Okay? That is the Americas. That's his throne of glory. All right? This is the holy covenant land. Okay? At the right hand of my heavenly Father, and he shall set a crown upon my head. And when the nations behold it, they shall weep, every nation apart. Okay? Then shall he command them to enter into the river of fire, while the works of every one of them shall stand before them. Okay? To every man according to his deeds. As for the elect that have done good, we shall come unto him and not see death by the devouring fire. But the unrighteous, the sinners, and the hypocrites shall stand in. Then he shall command them to enter into the river of fire, while the works of every one of them shall stand before them. All right, to every man according to his deeds. All right, as for the elect that have done good, we shall come unto him and not see death by the devouring fire. But the unrighteous, the sinners, the hypocrites shall stand in the depths of darkness that shall not pass away. And their chastisement is the fire. And angels bring forth their sins, and prepare them a place wherein they shall be punished forever. Okay, that is your angels of torture. Okay, yeah, those are your malevolent, what you would call aliens. Okay, yes, and they're going to take hold of their portion. All right. You're not going to have no might in your physical mortal hands against these angels of torture. Okay? Uriel, the angel of the Most High, shall bring forth the souls of those sinners, every one according to his transgressions. Okay? Who perished in the flood. All right? And of all that dwelt in all idols, in every molten image, in every object of love in the pictures and all of these things, and of those that dwelt on all the hills and in the stones and by the wayside, whom's men call gods, okay? All those of you that worship your money, okay, stacking it up on the earth, you have no compassion, kindness, mercy, nor empathy for his people. They shall burn them with them, all right, the objects in which they dwell, or their worshippers, in everlasting fire. And after that, all of them with their dwelling places are destroyed. They shall be punished eternally, okay? Then shall men and women come unto the place prepared for them by their tongues, wherewith they have blasphemed the way of righteousness, shall they be hanged up. There is spread under them unquenchable fire, that they escape it not. Behold, another place therein is a pit great and full. In it are they that have denied righteousness. You want to ignore the fruits of the Spirit. You want to ignore his vessels of mercy that's being obedient. And the angels of punishment is going to chastise you. And there do they kindle upon them the fire of their torment. And again, behold, women, they hang them up by their necks and by their hair. They shall cast them into the pit. These are they which plaited their hair, not for good, but to turn them to fornication, that they might ensnare the souls of men unto perdition. And the men that lay with them in fornication shall be hung by their loins in that place of fire. And they shall say one to another, we knew not that we should come unto everlasting punishment. Of course you didn't, because you've been lullabied by your religions, thinking that you covered in the blood of Jesus, that you ain't never have to freaking own up to your wickedness. You ain't never have to turn from your transgressions and overturn it. And the murderers and them that have made common cause with them shall they cast into the fire, in a place full of venomous beasts, and they shall be tormented without rest, feeling their pains, and their worms shall be as many in number as a dark cloud. And the angel Azrael shall bring forth the souls of them that have been slain, and they shall behold the torment of them that slew them, and say one to another, righteousness and justice is the judgment of the true and living God. For we heard, but we obeyed not, that we should come into this place of eternal judgment. And near by this flame shall be a pit, great and very deep, and into it floweth from above all manner of torment, foulness, and issue. And women are swaddled up therein to their necks, and tormented with great pain. These are they that have caused their children to be born untimely, and have corrupted the work of the true and living God that created them. Over against them shall there be another place, where sit their children, both alive, and they cry unto the true and living God, and flashes, thunderings go forth from those children, and pierce the eyes of them that for fornication's sake have caused their destruction. Other men and women shall stand above them naked, and their children stand over against them, in a place of delight, and sigh and cry unto God because of their parents, saying, these are they that have despised and cursed and transgressed thy commandments, and delivered us unto death. They have cursed the angel that formed us, and have hanged us up, and withheld from us the light which thou hast given unto all creatures. And the milk of their mothers flowing from their breasts shall congeal, and from it shall come beasts devouring flesh, which shall come forth and turn and torment them forever with their husbands, because they forsook the commandments of the true and living God, and slew their children. As for their children, they shall be delivered into the caretaking angel, and they that slew them shall be tormented eternally. All right? For eternal benevolence will allow it. Okay, this is for all of you who think it's nothing to just go abort your babies. You're having babies because you just want the freaking pleasures of the flesh. And you end up making children and you just go freaking get an abortion, slaying them in the womb. And this is your judgment that's going to be coming upon you. Okay? That's all I want to get for that. Okay? Okay, I think I'm going to come to that later. Alright? Now, people, let me wrap this on up. Okay? Because let me see what time I'm at. Alright, a little over an hour. Okay? So, I did say I was going to play a bit of that back. Let me see.
But when, oh when, will you people begin?
Hold on. Okay, so yeah. Now, when are y'all gonna begin to freaking listen? All right. Already, I gotta fight the powers that be that want to suppress this truth by way of the spirit. Okay. Second. Where's that? For the wrath of eternal benevolence, all right, it's not really his wrath, but it's the wrath of your own wickedness. But it's going to be revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who suppress the truth in unrighteousness. Okay? Do you not know that you're upholding this unrighteous, unjust system when you refuse to help us? Do you not realize and know that you are hand in hand with the worst of the heathen, suppressing us? They're already doing it on our channels. They're doing it on Facebook and everywhere we are. Okay? You're upholding this when you refuse to help us. You're upholding this when you refuse to, support the truth. Okay? If you truly love the true and living God, then you will love his word. You will not work against us. You will not keep us suppressed. You will if you truly are of the light, then you will want the light to shine. You will stop trying to dim the light. You will stop trying to hide the light. Okay? You put a light up to light the way. Okay? You will stop trying to snuff out the light. All of you who are banded together trying to snuff out the light, you're bringing great wrath upon yourself. That's being revealed on all ungodliness and all the unrighteous of you who are suppressing the truth in unrighteousness. Okay? This I took in 2022, this screenshot right here. Okay? I was talking about being shadow banned and all of this. Alright? This is one of the videos that I did. All their skeleton bones gonna spill out of the closet. Okay? They're constantly shadow banning me. They're constantly suppressing my content. Alright? I'm hardly recommended because people hardly put a like on the video. Now, I don't ask for likes. Okay, I should not have to take time, and I'm not going to take time to beg you for likes. Okay, I'm not here for likes. However, you need to know that it's showing that you do not love his truth. when you refuse to uphold his truth. If you loved his truth, then you would like his truth. You would like the video. You would like the content. You would share the content. You would support the content. Okay? You would. Oh, this world of superficiality that I was born in, man. Okay? You must begin to operate in the truth. Okay? You must be real. It's not like I ain't been out here doing this work without support. I've done it for over 3 years and I ain't begged nobody for support. And I'm not begging you for support now. All I'm doing is letting you know that your heart is being weighed. Your heart is being judged. Your mentality is being weighed and judged based upon your actions. Okay? All of this time, I've been doing this work without the support of the people who passed on this generational curse of poverty unto me. All right? That's my wicked forefathers and my family, my folks, okay? My mother, my father, okay? They created my physical mortal body. All right? And then they were passing on this generational curse of poverty unto me. All right? And wanted me to be a slave to the system. I've been ostracized by my family. I've been, like, literally ignored by my family. They don't support this truth. Okay? They don't support my channel. They don't help me. Okay? They will be, they cannot wait. It's almost like they would rejoice if I was homeless on the street, if I got evicted from my apartment. You know, they would break their neck to try to come see me sitting on the side of the road or sitting, outside with no place to go. And they would scorn me and ridicule me. They would not help me. But they would definitely love to see this for me. They would love to see me destitute because they have put their trust and faith in money. And they feel proud about that. Let's see. I think I'm going to bring that later. This is what the world glorifies, including my family. This is what they live for. And they mad at me that I don't want to do this. I am aware that the money machine eats youth, spontaneity, life, beauty, and above all, it eats creativity. It eats quality and it shits quantity. Okay? I have been in a furnace of adversity for over 3 years. And hardly anybody has shown any kind of compassion, kindness, mercy, or empathy unto me. It's like you do not care that this is my ancestral land. Being forced to be complacent, being ruled by my enemies. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to save us from it, and he will rescue us from your hand, O King, all of you in your prosperity. But even if he does not, even if it's delayed, I want you to know, O King, O prosperous nations upon these lands, that I will not serve your false god of money. No, I will not serve this system, nor worship the image of the god of money. Okay? The image of the god of this system is money that has been established by the worst of the heathen. I'm not going to participate in this any longer. So I'm in this furnace. I've been in this furnace. Okay? The whole entire time giving you this work by way of the Spirit. All right? Trusting in the true and living God, not in the God that was established by the heathen. Okay? Now, true warriors don't need crowd support. Only the pretenders do. They need the crowd to amp them up and keep them relevant. But I am not here for a clout of men. I'm here to fulfill my purpose upon this earth, my spiritual mission. Whether people support me or not, it won't change what eternal benevolence has laid out for my life. Okay? I will continue to do the work that has been inscribed upon my spirit. All right? As long as I can do it. Now, this also connects to the suppressing of our work. Okay? And this is from the Nag Hammadi Apocalypse, Coptic Apocalypse of Peter. The wisdom of the brotherhood that truly exists, which is the spiritual fellowship with the ones who have the same root in a community, through which shall appear the marriage of the incorruption. But the kindred race of the sisterhood will appear as an imitation. These are the ones who suppress their brothers, while they say to them, through this our God has mercy, because salvation comes to us through this. That's your Christianity that's pointing you to trust and believe in the blood of Jesus for your salvation. Okay? That's the imitation. And blood does not cover your transgressions. Blood will never cover your sin because you had a choice to make. Okay? You had the choice whether you were going to continue in benevolent attributes, benevolent deeds, or benevolent attributes. In malevolent attributes and malevolent deeds. Okay? So, ain't no blood going to cover your malevolent deeds. Okay? No, you're going to reap what the hell you've been sowing. Okay? They do not know the punishment of those who rejoice with those who have done this deed to the little ones, who have looked at them with envy, who have imprisoned them. See, you have imprisoned us, okay? We are prisoners of war. But there shall be others of those who are outside of our number, who call themselves bishop and also deacons, as if they have received their authority from the true and living God, while they bend themselves under the judgment of the first seats. Those are the canals without water. But I said, okay, I'm going to stop there, okay? They are the canals without water, all right? Because this cuts off and I don't have any more. Okay? Now, see? This connects to where I was telling you before that the ascended master, the Messiah, who the world wants to call Jesus, his whole doctrine was about mercy, divine love, compassion, and mercy. Okay, let's see. And he, Peter, pondered thereon, that he might perceive the mystery of the Son of God. Okay, the merciful and lover of mercy. All right, so therefore he would not be rejoicing in our suffering. If he's the lover of mercy, how in the hell would he rejoice in our suffering? He merely had to allow it because of our iniquity. Okay? And when the Lord was seated upon the Mount of Olives, his disciples came unto him, and we besought and entreated him severely, and prayed him, saying unto him, Declare unto us what are the signs of thy coming, and of the end of the world, that we may perceive mark the time of thy coming, and instruct them that came after us, unto whom we preach the word of thy gospel, and whom we set over thy church, that they, when they hear it, may take heed to themselves, and mark the time of thy coming. All right? I'm proving to you what I'm giving you. I'm proving to you that your time is up, okay? And I've been proving to you that your time is up for at least the last 2 years, all right? And our Messiah, our King, answered us, saying, Take heed that no man deceive you, and that you be not doubters, and serve other gods. So you trying to force me to serve the God of money, okay? By putting in my time, energy, and effort earning it, thereby trusting in it to sustain my life. You want me to put my trust in money to sustain my life, all right? Yes. All who put their time, energy, and effort into earning money for a living is trusting in money to sustain their life. Okay? I'm not doing that any longer because I have put my trust and faith in the true and living God to sustain my life. Okay, this gives an option for those who have abundance to choose to be righteous. You can choose my God of eternal benevolence, and you can be adopted in amongst us. Okay, many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Christ. Believe them not, neither draw near unto them. For the coming of the Son of God shall not be plain. Okay? But as the lightning that shineth from the east unto the west, so will I come upon the clouds of heaven, with a great host in my majesty. With my cross going before my face will I come in my majesty, shining sevenfold more than a sun will I come in my majesty, with all of the angels, okay? The holy angels, okay? Again, you would call them aliens, okay? And my Father shall set a crown upon my head, that I may judge the quick and the dead, and recompense every man according to his works, okay? Everyone is going to be rewarded according to their deeds. Okay? Now, and you, take you the likeness thereof, learn a parable from the fig tree. So soon as the shoot thereof is come forth from the twigs grown, the end of the world shall come. You are ignoring this fruit. Okay? His fig tree sprouted. There's much fruit on this channel that most people have been blatantly ignoring. But as you can see here, that we're very near the end of this unrighteous, unjust system, this wicked ass world coming to an end. Okay? And I, Peter, answered and said unto him, Interpret unto me concerning the fig tree, whereby we shall perceive it. For throughout all its days does the fig tree send forth shoots. See, Peter was thinking with a carnal mind. He was thinking of an actual fig tree, okay? And every year it bringeth forth its fruit for its master, those that planted the seed, okay? What then meaneth the parable of the fig tree? We know it not. And our king answered and said unto me, Understandest thou not that the fig tree is the house of Israel? Even as a man that planted a fig tree in his garden, and it brought forth no fruit, and he sought the fruit thereof many years, and when he found it not, he said to the keeper of his garden, Root up this fig tree, that it make not our ground to be unfruitful. So he allowed the worst of the heathen. He allowed the pale-skinned horse, the pale horse, to come over here and root us up, okay? And a gardener said unto the Most High, Suffer us to rid it of weeds, and dig the ground around about it, and water it. If then it bear not fruit, we will straightway remove its roots out of the garden and plant another in place of it. Okay, that was given the opportunity to the Gentiles and all nations, all right, to be righteous. Okay, so now our lands was opened up to all nations to come over here. All right, choose to be righteous, but you've not done this. All right. Hast thou not understood that the fig tree is the house of Israel? Verily I say unto thee, when the twigs thereof have sprouted forth in the last days, then shall fiend Christ come and awake expectation, saying, I am the Christ. All right, now you got all your religions, okay? And them churches are filled. Their congregations are filled with many people being misled, while you're ignoring his fig tree that done sprouted. All right? And they claim that they're the Christ that's now coming to the world. And when they, Israel, shall perceive the wickedness of their deeds, we have turned away from them, and we deny them, okay? Whom our fathers praised, okay? Like my family. All right, my family look towards the Europeans and they emulate the Europeans. It's like they envy the Europeans, so they go out of their way to live like the Europeans. They want to live around the Europeans, okay? They want to live in the suburbs around the Europeans, okay? And they look their nose down upon their own people, all right, that are in the ghetto, all right? They look their nose down upon me because I don't care about the false god of money. All right? That's the God of the Gentiles. And that's the God that my family has chosen to put their trust and faith in. And they feel some type of way about me because I never really put my trust and faith in money. It was just forced upon me when I was in spiritual ignorance. Okay? So my family praised, these Gentiles. All right? But I understand now because I have the spiritual clarity and understanding. So I've turned away from all religion. Okay? I follow the true and living God of eternal benevolence. All right? Even the first Christ whom they crucified, and therein sinned a great sin. But this deceiver is not the Christ. Okay? So we perceive the wickedness of the Antichrist. Therefore, we don't follow him. We don't follow this system. We don't follow your religion. Okay? We are not obedient and or complacent to the wickedness of this unrighteous, unjust system. Okay? And when they reject him, he shall slay with the sword, that they shall be many martyrs. There shall be many martyrs. See, you're slaying me with the sword today by withholding bare necessities. Then shall the twigs of the fig tree, that is the house of Israel, shoot forth. Okay? Many shall become martyrs at his hand. Enoch and Elijah shall be sent to teach them that this is the deceiver, which must come into the world and do signs and wonders to deceive. And therefore shall they that die by his hand be martyrs, and shall be reckoned among the good and righteous martyrs who have pleased the true and living God in our life. Okay, now this happens several times in the book of Revelation, chapter 11. You can see how the living witnesses were killed several times. Okay, now we're in the final time that we've been resurrected by way of the Spirit, and the fig tree has shot forth. Okay, because I'm giving you the pure gospel for the final time. Okay? This is the final time. All right, I already brung it out. All right. And the Lord of the vineyard said unto them, go to and labor in the vineyard with your might. For behold, this is the last time that I shall nourish my vineyard. For the end is nigh at hand, and the season speedily cometh. And if you labor with your might with me, you shall have joy in the fruit which I shall lay up unto myself against the time which will soon come. Okay. And it came to pass that the servants did go and labor with our might. And the Lord of the vineyard labored also with us. And we did obey the commandments of Yahusha of the vineyard in all things. And there again began to be the natural fruit again in the vineyard. And the natural branches began to grow and thrive. We have not been able to thrive exceedingly yet because we're waiting for the adoption of you righteous ambs to help us soar in our spiritual mission. Okay? I've been languishing while I'm giving you this word by the way of the Spirit. And you have not had any compassion, kindness, mercy, nor empathy upon me. Okay? And he showed me. Hold on. See, right here, it speaks of those that have already been well-pleasing unto the true and living God and have suffered for his name's sake. That is the sake of his true, pure gospel, the sake of righteousness, the sake of benevolence, the sake of divine love. Okay? I've suffered for the sake of this. All right, this is the message I was instructed to bring unto humanity. Okay? And I've been bearing the brunt of the hatred. Why do you hate benevolence? Why do you hate divine love? Why do you hate compassion? Why do you hate kindness and mercy and empathy? Why do you hate generosity? Why do you love your temporary money that is not eternal? And he showed me in his right hand the souls of all men, and on the palm of his right hand the image of that which shall be accomplished at the last day, and how the righteous and the sinners shall be separated, and how they do that are upright in heart, and how the evildoers shall be rooted out unto all eternity. We beheld how the sinners wept in great affliction and sorrow, until all that saw it with their eyes wept, whether righteous or angels, he himself also. Okay? That's how horrible the destruction and calamity is going to be on all the wicked in all their prosperity, refusing to unharden their heart condition and unsear their conscience. Okay? This is going to be from the sealed portion, chapter 88. All right. And what I say unto one, I say unto all men, watch therefore, for you know not at what hour your Lord does come. But know this, if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched, and would not have suffered his house to have been broken up, but would have been ready. Therefore be you ready, for in such an hour as you think not, the Son of Man cometh. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom the Lord has made ruler over his household, to give them food in due season? Hold on. Let's see. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord has made ruler over his household, to give them food in due season? Blessed is that servant, whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. And verily I say unto you, he shall make him ruler over all his goods. Okay? See, you want to take me away from doing what he instructed me to do, and you want to force me to do what the worst of the heathen has established for all souls that are born upon this earth during their time frame to do: be a battery for the system, earn money for a living. Well, see, when he come, he's going to find me doing this work by the way of the Spirit, okay? By any means necessary. All right? But if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken, then the Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder, and shall appoint him his portion with the hypocrites, and there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And thus cometh the end of the wicked, according to the prophecy of Moses, saying, they shall be cut off from among the people, but the end of the earth is not yet, but by and by. Yeah. You can take a screenshot of this and read the rest of that yourself, people. Okay? I realize that a lot of people do not like me. Okay? I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to do the will of eternal benevolence. Okay? I'm here to fulfill my spiritual mission. Alright? A lot of people don't like me because my light illuminates the shadow work that you refuse to do. You refuse to confront your demons of selfishness and greed. So therefore you want to mock and scorn and hate on me. You're doing that to your own detriment, people. You've been stonewalling me simply for being obedient. On that note, I'm going to end it there, people. Alright? This is so many videos. But, you got a lot. Okay? You have a lot to take in, absorb. Alright? I literally do this to help you. Okay? I'm not here to hurt anybody. It would just really be nice when people begin to love me and love what eternal benevolence created me to do upon the earth in this time. Okay? On that note, shalom.